Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And yes, I know it has been 4 days. I've been really busy with work, so haven't really had the time to sit down and go through the videos that I need to go through, but I had watched the episodes. So we are back at Married at First Sight UK series 10. We are now on episode 5, but before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on my journey to 1k. So let's see what's happened in the madness of maths, because that's all I can call it. Yeah, it's the madness of maths. So yes, we do have another wedding, and yes, I watched edits, and I know I should not rely on the edits, okay, but it doesn't look very good from the edits that I saw, okay. So the others are still like went on their honeymoon, and we shall see what occurred. So we see Maeve and Joe go to Antigua. Maeve says she cannot wait to get wavy. Joe keeps on shouting drinks at her, and I'm kind of like, why are you shouting drinks at her that she could have? And she's like, yeah, I could do with one of those or one of these and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, mate, don't encourage her when you said you don't want a girl like that, when you said you've left your partying days behind, that, you know, the drinking and the partying affected your mental health, and you're encouraging someone else to do that when they've said that they want to try and calm that shit down. Yeah. So Joe at the moment says that he hasn't come to terms with being married, but he does like Maeve, but he's not sure if Maeve is what he needs, basically, because he needs to understand while he's on this holiday with her, getting to know her, whether she's just a party girl at the end of the day. Because if she is just a party girl, then he isn't going to want anything to do with Maeve in that sense, because he's been there, done that, got the frigging wild t-shirt, don't want to go back and do it again. All I would say is all he has to do is wait for happy hour. Wait for happy hour and see what happens. That's all he has to do. But I'm glad that he also did have the thoughts that he was having. He had those conversations with her as well. He said he was concerned on how she'll be with him when she has a drink. She talks about, you know, she gets argumentative, and she said, but, you know, I'm all right. But the more she drinks, the more she will tend to try and push the other person's buttons. I was like, yeah, I could see that was not it for Joel, because I'm just kind of sitting there like, Maeve, what are you trying to do? Are you literally trying to sabotage this situation before it's even got started? I mean, that's the answer to the question that I really want to know, right? So Maeve really needs to hear what Joe is saying, basically, and look at it from his point of view at the end of the day, because he doesn't really want someone that will push his buttons. He doesn't want to be in combat with someone constantly, especially when they've had a drink at the end of the day. I mean, I the fuck wouldn't want to be with someone like that, to be honest with you. I mean, every time they got tipsy or every time they got drunk, it's a freaking battle of freaking wits all the time. It ain't cute and it ain't funny at the end of the day. And then I ain't gonna want you to come to me in the morning and say, oh, I apologize for my behavior. No, you shouldn't have got to that point to have that behavior in the first place at the end of the day. So Maeve does say that Joe has, like, you know, when they're talking, calmed down from his party days, and she told him that she wants to be like that. She wants to get to a place of calmness and hopes that Joe may be the one to be able to calm her down. Joe likes that, because my man smiles big. He smiles big. But I would say, don't hold your breath, Joe. To be honest with you, proof is going to be in the pudding at this point when it comes to Maeve and whether she wants to keep a hold of Joe or not, because we know that Maeve is really into Joe, but Joe is still erring on the side of caution at the end of the day. So Joe says, like, you know, what do you think will happen? And she says, well, right now I'm in the mind space to not have a drink at the end of the day. I mean, they are on holiday. They're on a honeymoon. And the drinks are going to be on tap. Do you think Maeve is at the point to say, oh, let me calm my partying days down right now? Hell to the fuck no. This girl is going to have a drink at the end of the day. But it's about Maeve being open enough to allow for Joe to calm her down in that essence. I'm invested in them. I really am. I have a vested interest in them. I do like them. I do like to see them together. So you see Maeve talking to the cameras, and like, she talks about her tried and tested formula, which is treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. I was just like, Maeve, you do that and you will literally push this dude straight out of the motherfucking running at the end of the day. So Maeve continues with, like, if you can handle me at my worst, you can handle me at my best. I don't think that quote meant getting blottoed and arguing with your man to the point that he don't want to know you. Do you know what I mean? That's a surefire way of losing them, because if we are honest, who wants to deal with that? Because I sure as hell would not want to do so. So you see that Maeve is really liking Joe. She talks about that, like, you know, he's an easy person to talk to. But all I would say is, she ain't too careful, she's gonna fuck it up. She's gonna fuck it up from here to Timbuktu at the end of the day. As he's saying about her remaining, as she is on the outside of this experiment, being the proverbial party girl, putting on a face or a mask for everyone to see that first, so she doesn't feel that she's going to get hurt. She needs to make changes herself. She needs to evolve from the person that she was to the person that she said that she wants to be. She says in her past relationships, like, she's been walked all over basically, but what she's doing now is using her behaviour as a barrier. That's all she's doing, and a deflection. And Joe don't know her at this point in time, and that's what she needs to realise. Joe is here to literally find love, to literally find a life partner, and he's hoping he can find that in Maeve. But if she isn't going to be true to herself and show him her true colours, not this freaking party-go-lucky type of vibe type of girl, then he ain't going to be interested. It's going to be a surefire way that she will lose this dude, I'm telling ya. So she then says to Joe, like, let's go get a few drinks down us basically, and then he'll find out sharpish in terms of how she's like. I was like, Maeve, that's not a good joke to crack. It really is not a good joke to crack, because Joe from that just went quiet as hell and had a worried look on his face. And I was like, come on love, read the room, read the messages that your man is sending to you at the end of the day. So then we go back to Leah and Lee. All I felt at this point was like, I hope to God Leah has a freaking backbone somewhere, because I'm sorry, Lee's horrible. The way she treated this girl was uncalled for at the end of the day, and she's treating Leah disgracefully. So now these two are having a picnic in the snow. So Leah got Leah hot chocolate. Does this woman say thank you? No, she does not. She just gets the cup and says, you hold our paw. You hold our paw. I really don't know what's wrong with Lee. I don't know what's wrong with her at the end of the day, because she's not got one lick of manners. And I really hope to God she watches this back and sees how much of a mean girl that she was to Leah at the end of the day, because it was totally unnecessary and uncalled for. So Leah, of course, as she does, pours a drink for Lee. And for Leah, she jumps too much to Lee's bidding, and I'm sitting there like, Leah, come on now, you need to talk to this girl about her attitude and the way she's coming across. So Leah says to the camera that Lee's behaviour to her has been emotionally draining, and she feels that she's giving more. And I'm just like, but that's because you are, love. Me watching it has drained the emotions out of me. Like, Lee is a pompous ass, a proper pompous ass. So Leah has decided that she's going to talk to Lee about her behaviour, and I thought, I hope to God Lee takes accountability, because I think, like, you know, Leah may be shooting in the breeze with that one at the end of the day. So Leah said, like, at this point, I feel like I am trying harder with you. Lee did not like the sound of that at all. Her neck and her head snapped the hell back. She literally sat to attention as if to say, what the fuck? What the fuck are you saying? And the rigid stance that she normally takes with her face was up. It was on there. It was ready. And I thought, yeah, Lee won't be taking any type of accountability for her behaviour at all. And she said it all with a sarcastic, are you? I thought, mate, you know what? You know what? at this point, I'm just like, let me continue with this, cause Lee is a diabolical person. She's fucking diabolical, yeah. So Leah said, I'm always attentive with you, asking you what you want, if you need anything, constantly giving you compliments. And then she said, all I need is a little bit of flirtiness back. I thought, mate, you are not going to get that from Lee. Lee don't like you like that. That's a tall order even for her to do at the end of the day, is to give you flirtiness if she ain't feeling flirty with you. So Lee does tell her, I don't want to flirt with you because, like, it ain't for her at the end of the day, which I do applaud Lee for being honest. But it shouldn't have taken this chat, yeah, that Leah instigated for Lee to then be honest about her feelings towards Leah. So Lee said, I don't want to rush myself. And Leah said, well, you could be a little bit more flirty, I think. I thought, Leah, did you not hear the words that was coming out of that girl's mouth? She don't find you attractive enough to flirt with. That's in essence what she's saying. Someone can't flirt if they are not on that level with you, and Lee ain't. So at this point, as much as I like Leah, she's literally flying in delusional city for sure, like really well and truly. So Leah ain't saying so much as, like, in terms of the sexual flirting. She wants acknowledgement from Lee that, at least say I look nice. At least give me compliments. It's not a tall ask, actually, that Leah is asking for. She's not asking Lee to be outright verbally flirty, touchy-feely, or this, that and the other. But at the end of the day, say you look nice. Say that, oh, those shoes are lovely. Your hair looks lovely today. So in goes Lee again with the defensiveness, yeah. When she says, okay, do you just want me to dig, you just want to dig me out as to how horrible I am? I said, this woman will not take no accountability. She will not take no responsibility for her actions and will paint herself as the victim when Leah calls her out on her behaviour. I did say this, and this is what she's doing right now. So Leah told her, like, can't we just meet in the middle at the end of the day if we want to try and work this out? I was like, Leah, I was with you up until that point. Because this girl don't want her, and she's showing it in so many ways that she does not want her. I don't think Lee is gonna get past this at all. That's how I feel when I watch this. I don't think she's gonna get past this. I think she's gonna get to a point of like, oh, I will try on this, that, and the other. But I think it's gonna be self-serving because Lee ain't gonna get past to the romantic feelings with Leah at all. So Leah does admit, like, she knows she's not Lee's type, and she said Lee is not in fact her type at the end of the day. But she's saying they still could have a flirt and a joke. I thought, yeah, but this is married at first sight, yeah. It's not flirt at first sight, and I am saying there's no light at the end of the tunnel for these two if Leah thinks this match is going to make something. So Leah does say, like, if she can't give any more of herself, yeah, then she's not staying. And I thought, I hope that's true. I hope that's true, because it will happen sooner than later, because Lee, I'm sorry, is boring as hell. She's boring. Leah asked her, like, do you want to play games in the snow? And the girl says no. The girl says no. No fanfare at all, just straight up rejection. I thought, Leah, call it a day now, please, because ain't no program worth this, because I'm telling you, I'm sitting in soft, untouched snow, and I'm not going to go jump in that shit. I'll be in there, foot first, hand first, back out, snow angels the lot. Yeah? Lee's not fun. She ain't fun. So we go back to Julia, Ruth and Devani. And Devani is literally, oh, my wife, my wife, my wife. He's really extra sometimes where he don't need to be at the end of the day. So Julia Ruth has woken up with a different thought process. So she talks about how she is usually open sexually with her partners, but she's not getting that feeling or desire with Devani. And I thought, well, damn. Damn. Because I didn't get that impression at the wedding. I got the impression that she couldn't wait to rip this man's clothes off and do the didgeridoo with him. So that took a turn. That really took a turn. Because now Julia Ruth is saying she wants to take things slow with Devani. All I can say is that was quick. Alcohol does wonders. Alcohol does wonders. When them rose-tinted glasses comes off is where the problem is. And this is what's happened to Julia Ruth. So they go to Morocco. So she says like it's confusing, yeah, because she didn't get the initial spark with Devani. And I just thought, but from the wedding, she did not give that view that she didn't have a initial spark with this man. She was all over this man. B, she was connecting with him on the Marvel phrase and the superhero in the movies and all this, that and the other. And C, she was kissing off this man's face. So how she didn't get an initial spark, I don't know. Do you want to know what it is? It's his height. It's his height. It must be his height. Then we get to meet Rebecca. Now, she is going to be matched with Bailey. So Rebecca definitely looks after herself. And she says that she's attracted to the alpha male. And a big man that can lead her by the hand. I need someone to explain it to me. What the fuck is an alpha? Yeah? What is the alpha and what is a beta? Because those terms are only used for the animal kingdom, mainly for a wolf pack. So when did we adopt these terminologies? When did we say we want an alpha man, or when did we call a man a beta man energy and stuff like that? So when a woman says I want an alpha man, what do they mean by that? Someone will have to explain it to me. What do they mean by that at the end of the day? Because I know for myself, yeah, I do give off crazy energy. I give off arseholish energy. I ain't gonna lie. I give off probably a tinsy bit of toxic energy. I give off positive energy too. I also give off joy energy. I'm built different at the end of the day. Whenever I hear people talk about alpha energy, it just brings up toxic masculinity to me. That's all it brings up to me at the end of the day. So she does talk about the fact that she is very self-made, she's independent, and she's built her business from the ground up. So she's a determined woman who knows what she wants. Her standards are high. She said that, her mom said that, her friends have said that her standards are quite high. She wants things in order, she likes things to be perfect, and she won't settle for anything less. I'm just like, well, no one is perfect, my love. She will have to come off that pedestal sometime and smell the roses, to be honest with you. So she basically said that she was with her ex for 8 years and they were engaged, but she was the one that broke off the engagement. So she says that if she's not 100% sure, then she won't do things that she don't want to do, which is fair enough at the end of the day. But she said with her ex, she didn't know if it was 100% right for her being engaged to this man. So she says this changed her as a person. And I thought, but it changed the fella's outlook too at the end of the day. So it's kind of like coming off that it's all about me, what she thinks, what she wants, and how it needs to meet her expectations at the end of the day. So her friends do ask her, like, but what if you do get matched with someone who is not your type? Would you work at it? And Rebecca said no. She wants those boxes ticked instantly. I thought, oh, well, this program is not going to work out for you very well, is it, lovey, if you don't like the man that you've married? I don't know why people come on this show and continue to put expectations on people like this at the end of the day. She is the one being matched. She is the one who apparently can't find what she needs on the outside world by herself. She's got professionals involved to match her with a man sight unseen at the end of the day. So she ain't going to find the person that she's looking for, because it's somebody else that's going to be matching her on the basis of what she needs, not what she wants. So basically, if she don't get what she wants, in turn, she will write that person off completely. So then we get to meet Bailey. And he does seem like a lad's lad. He really does. He doesn't take himself too seriously. And he's from my fave place in the world. He's from Brighton and he owns a microbrewery. So he's another person that has a daughter. And his daughter's name is Bluebell. And he basically talked about how he didn't necessarily want to separate from his daughter's mother, but they both mutually felt that they were better off apart. So he talks about how much love means everything to him, but he wants the right person to see the good in him and to be able to bring out the best in him as well. He's looking for a teammate. And I was like, mate, don't we all? We're all looking for that preferable teammate. We're all looking for that one person that, you know what, that says, you know what, yeah, you're it for me and we're going to make this work, basically. So they both have things in common, but my concern will be is if perfectionist Rebecca doesn't get to know him, if she doesn't like him off the bat, then there's going to be an issue. So we see, as you do, the experts have their little confab, so they think they cracked it with Bailey and Rebecca. I didn't see it straight away, to be honest with you, because Rebecca, from my first impressions, was too much of a perfectionist, and no one, I don't think, could live up to her expectations, and I thought Bailey would fall short of those. So we quickly get to Rebecca and Bailey's wedding. So Rebecca is talking about how she will know within 10 seconds if this person is going to be her person or not. And I thought, please mate, you were with your ex for 8 freaking years and only saw that he was not the right person for you. When he asked you to marry him, you said yeah and decided that you're not 100% sure. So 10 seconds my eye is all I'm going to say. 10 seconds my eye. So even her mom tells her, like, you know, you need to give people a chance, and that she does need to compromise, and she always wants things her own way, and that is her mom saying that, folks. Again, Rebecca harps on about the alpha guy, and I'm getting to the point where it's absolutely wearing thin, because she doesn't let it go. She doesn't. Yeah, even from watching the next episode that I'll be doing next year, she does not let that shit go. But it works out better for Bailey, and we will get to that episode soon enough. So Bailey is fully excited to get married, and his friend does say, like, she may not even like you, aren't you worried about that at all? And Bailey's confident as hell. He says no, he's not worried at all. I think his cockiness will come to slap him in his face, because I don't think Rebecca will like him off first impressions. So he said he's not used to people not fancying him, and I thought, okay, not too much of a big head, eh, Bailey? So yeah, I thought Bailey was way too confident for someone going down an aisle to a stranger at the end of the day, and automatically I was thinking there's no way she's going to like him and sight. So here we go. Let me just say, when Bailey got down to that aisle and said hello to, like, her side of the family and the friends and stuff, from the tense look on Rebecca's friend's face, she already knew Rebecca wouldn't like him. Although she said she can tell from Rebecca's face if she likes him or not, that woman already knew that Rebecca, looking at Bailey right then and there, would not like him straight off the bat. She showed no excitement at all, and Rebecca's mum was the same. Although she smiled positively, it was a false smile. So then we get to the first look. So Rebecca is basically a tick box woman, and basically if Bailey don't hit those quotas, then he will be out. Let's just put it that way. I mean, she did all this for herself, to be honest with you. So Bailey likes her, Rebecca not so much. Not so much. And when he turned around and he said that he was 6'4", this is what he said, he was 6'4". She kept on turning around to him saying, 6'4"? Like, I mean, 6'4" is tall. I'm only 5'4" myself. That man would tower over me like the Leaning Tower of motherfucking Pizza at the end of the day. I don't know how tall she wanted this man. I don't know if she wanted gargantuan proportions, but 6'4" seemed a bit astonishing to her. Even Bailey's mates were looking at her as if to say, why do you, as in, what the fuck, why do you keep on repeating it and repeating it? So yeah, I'm really questioning the whole application process for these people at the end of the day. So my gal is either literally moaning that Bailey is not tall enough at first thought, yeah, or she wanted him to be shorter. I just can't. I just can't with this woman. I just can't with this woman. So now she has alarm bells going off. He's not her type, basically. We've figured that out straight away. Like, even from when her friend watched him walk down the aisle, figured that Rebecca would not like Bailey at the end of the day. Bailey is still there grinning like a whole Cheshire cat, not realizing that his whole situation is going to hell in a handbasket. When I tell you Bailey's friends are not hitting the vibe check, they were not hitting the vibe check. Yeah, the one looked like he had his arse spanked before he sat down. He did not crack one smile, and I thought, yeah, these are not the type of friends that you want to bring around your new person at the end of the day, because of the shit that they may say or let out on purpose. So Bailey was saying his vows like he's winning. Rebecca, you're looking at him, can't stand the man at all. She don't like him. It's just mind-boggling to me. It really is. She turned around and she said this will be the year that she would say yes to everything. I'm like, for mate, you have a long list as long as your motherfucking arm. There was no way you were saying yes to everything. No to the fuck way. This girl couldn't even get through her own vows without getting upset. And I thought it was for show, basically, because it didn't feel real. It didn't feel real coming from her. And I think she was more upset having to say the words, yeah, that were heartfelt vows to what she possibly thought was the wrong person. Let's just say it was awkward. It was awkward on all points, yeah. So her mum and her friend knew that she didn't really like the look of Bailey, and you could see that from the looks that they kept on sharing with each other. Rebecca wouldn't even kiss this man on the mouth. She said, the cheek, you know, the old cheek. Yeah. Yeah, Bailey wasn't too happy that he got the cheek. Let's just put it this way. So now this man is on a mission to get her to kiss him. To get her to kiss him, he basically said, maybe I can get a little bit of a tongue later. I thought, Bailey, no, that's not going to happen for you, my love. He ain't heading into that right now. Do you know what I mean? And it was telling that his friend, who wouldn't crack a smile, did laugh at him when he got a firm cheek. I thought, Bailey, that man ain't your friend. He's not your friend. So we went back to Julia Ruth and Devani's honeymoon. So you could see that Devani is fully into Julia Ruth, but Julia Ruth basically, his desire has gone by the way of the dodo. Yeah, it's gone out to pasture. She ain't feeling him now. Yeah, see what a bit of drink can do for ya. See what a bit of drink can do for ya. I'm telling ya, the Bill Goggle effect is strong. So she says she wants someone who is excited about life, and she's getting the impression that Devani is very low vibrational energy. I just thought, but you can't write him off right now, because at the wedding this girl said that she loved his energy. She loved his calming energy. Oh God. I don't know how this fell apart so quickly. I really, really don't. So she's saying his energy is different to hers, and she needs to realise that she being a dancer and her being around the LGBTQI community, because that's what she's around majoritarily, I can't even say my words, majority of the time, then their energy is going to be completely different to you being around just one sole person. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think she needs to do something to test his energy levels, to see if he will meet her energy, if when and where she needs him to, and then judge it on that basis, in that sense, at the end of the day. So we go back to Leah and Lee, and they're on a dinner date. I swear, this season is a why the hell are you bothering season. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously. So now Lee is thinking about how she is behaving and is ready to clear the air with Leah. I said it's always got to be on Lee's terms, hasn't it? We'll see if she really takes accountability or if it's just literally lip service. So now she says, like, you know, she could have put more effort in and listened to Leah more. And I thought, oh, so now Lee said she will take on board what Leah is saying. I mean, could it have been her having a feeling that Leah was on her last nerve with her at the end of the day and may have walked? Because I'm failing to see how this would work between them, to be honest with you. So now it's an element of Lee being distant with Leah because of what she had been through in the past. I thought, nope, no. I don't buy that at all. That's a cop-out on Lee's part at the end of the day, to be honest. She says she has turned the switch off and she's struggling to turn it back on with Leah. On a side note, why do their faces look plastic? Their faces looked hella plastic. I mean, how can a person talk without their whole face being animated is beyond me. And then another smile and with not even a movement of the eyebrows or the cheekbones. It shocked me. It did shock me. So Leah says she's happy, like, you know, Lee's saying what she's saying. And so Lee says she is attracted to Leah in a lot of other ways. I thought, mate, please, I'm sorry to be the voice of doom and gloom to everybody, but after all the shit she put Leah through up until that final dinner. I don't believe this is about Leah at all. I think this is literally about her Lee saving face at the end of the day, and Leah is completely buying it. Leah is thinking at last she feels heard, so I guess that's what matters in it. And then you get to the point where Leah started to feed her at the table. Then we go back to Maeve and Joe. So we know that Maeve is really liking Joe, but I'm kind of thinking hopefully she doesn't fuck it up somehow, do you know what I mean? So we asked her, like, you know, are you being a lady tonight? And this gal belched. She actually belched like a full-on bovine. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, mate, are you taking a piss right now? Are you Joel's smile literally just dropped off his face as if to say, what the fuck was that? So Joe wants to know Maeve on a deeper level, yeah. And he does mention, like, to her, like, her love of being a mom. So she must have told him about her son at this point, and Maeve is then telling him like how she had to be since she had her son, and that she's an independent person and that she is everything to her son. And Joe likes this about her. You can see Maeve, literally the whole essence of her starts to shine through when she's talking about her son. She starts to get that little vulnerability air about her. So Joe does tell her that, you know what, he thinks that she got a good heart and it's what he asked for. And Maeve did like to hear what Joe was saying, and I hope to God she hears it at the end of the day, because that vulnerability of Maeve will be gone in a minute. Let me put it this way, because she will sabotage that bitch up and down the place. She is going to play the long game with this man, yeah, just to see if he can handle her or stick it out. I think it's a full-on test that Maeve does anyway. So this girl has no behaviour when she drinks, and then bitches are going to be free on this holiday. So it's how Joe is going to be able to handle Maeve at that point. So Joe just raised that, you know, she has a facade and that he believes, like, you know, she has a soft side as well. When he said that, the smile left her face with a quickness, yeah. And I'm just like, why does she do this? So she feels that when she has shown her soft side, people have took the piece. But this is where I say she can't put her hang-ups on Joe. Joe is a completely new person. Joe don't know her from Adam. He's trying to know her. They've just got married. So for her to then put her hang-ups on him isn't fair, because he ain't done nothing to her but try to get to know her. If he's done something to her, then I'll be, yes, she can put her barriers up, but he hasn't at the end of the day. And this is why I said that Maeve needs to learn to evolve. And this is why I said that people like this should not go on shows like this, because they literally need to heal the fuck first before they then involve themselves in somebody else's life. Do you know what I mean? So we go back to Devani and Julia Ruth. He really likes her, but Julia Ruth don't like him at all. Don't like him at all. So they talk about the fact that, you know, what they felt like when they first saw each other for the first time. And Devani talks about how he was stupid happy, and when he explains what he felt when he saw her coming towards him, I'm just like, it was a bit much. He was kind of doing too much when he was doing that explanation. It doesn't look like Julia Ruth was too taken by what Devani had said anyway. At least he didn't turn around like he did on the camera the first time and say he fell in love with her at first sight, yeah, because that would make that girl run at breakneck speed, let me tell ya. So my thing is at this point, Julia Ruth has not told him where her head is at with him at the end of the day, but she did portray that she was on the same page with this man, but now she's not. He tells her, like, you know, she's beautiful, and you would think this man had chopped off her right arm. With the way she acted all uncomfortable in not wanting his compliment at all. So he asked her the same question, and she used the old adage, Oh, I was flooded with emotions on that day. I mean, you could see right through her body language at the end of the day, but I don't know if Devani was picking up what she was putting down non-verbally. So she listed Devani's attributes, like he was calm when she was nervous and they had a lot in common. But I think Devani was trying to hear if she was attracted to him or not, but that was not forthcoming at all. So then, as they're talking, Julia Ruth holds onto a big butt and said it was fair to say there was an expectation on height. And then she goes on to say that she's dated taller guys. I just thought, mate, there ain't nothing Devani can do about his height. That's the height he is at the end of the day. And now you're going to give this man a complex and turn him into an angry short guy. And we don't want that. We do not want that. We don't want a short angry guy. Devani looked confused. He looked so confused. And I feel it, man. I feel it for him, because she didn't mind his height when they were at the wedding. When he was gripping her up at the wedding and the reception and kissing her to beyond, she didn't mind his height then, but now his height is a problem. So Julia Ruth feels like it's more friendship. And then she starts crying about how she don't want to be mean to him. This is what she's saying to the camera. I thought, mate, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, because you lot on here ain't got no behaviour. Yous have got no behaviour at the end of the day. And when it comes to being mean to others on here, because when yous lot are uncomfortable, that's what the fuck you will do. And do it you will at the end of the day. So Devani's talking to the camera and says, like, he's hurt. Like, he's hurt by what she said. And I thought, I'm not surprised, because that shit came out of left field. It really, honestly, truly did come out of left field, because that's not the impression she was giving to us watching it on the screen at the wedding. To then we get to the honeymoon, she was not giving that impression. So we go back to Bailey and Rebecca's wedding. I mean, if this woman could get more wooden, they wouldn't need a frame for that fucking photo. Let me just tell you, all I need to do is stick her beside it to stand that bitch up. Bailey is definitely into her, yeah, but he says he's struggling to see where she is. I says, mate, this girl is giving you a glowing neon sign light that she is not enamored with you. So I don't understand how he is struggling to see where she is at. So it peeves me when people say they don't know if the fancying is there for them. I'm like, mate, you damn well know that you don't fancy this person that you just married. Like, you know this, so I don't understand how you are confused by this information. So Rebecca tells him, like, she likes a masculine energy, and he tells her that, you know, he's a very extroverted person and he's basically the loud one with his mates. She didn't like the sound of that at all, yeah. So Rebecca turned around and says, right, well, I'm the leader of the girls. And he says, oh, so we're both alphas then? Please, somebody tell me has already said, what the fuck does this alpha terminology mean? Is it code for mean? Is it code for being mean to people? Because I just don't know at the end of the day. Or is it code for, I want to take control of you, your person, and everything else that comes with it? Because, as again, the only terms alpha should refer to is the wolf kingdom. So Bailey was shocked when Rebecca told him she didn't get alpha vibes from him at all. So the cameraman, you see, these photographers are fucking on it, man. They're on it. They're on it. Like, seriously, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? So the cameraman's there asking if he could get a kiss. And Bailey was like, well, I don't know about the kissing thing now, because I'd like to have a kiss, but, you know, she might give him the cheek again. Rebecca asked for a kiss on the cheek. I was like, oh my God. This is awkward as hell. So Bailey says, yeah, of course, you can get a kiss on the cheek. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Bailey is absolutely in shock that Rebecca don't see him as an alpha. And to be fair, if I adopted their stance, I don't see Bailey as an alpha either, to be honest with you. So she don't see him as a type A character. She doesn't get that. And I thought, what the fuck does that mean? Someone will literally have to bring me up to date with these terminologies, man. Because, boy, sir, I'm getting lost up in these streets. So we go back to Joe and Maeve. and they're enjoying themselves. And Joe said he feels that things are progressing with Maeve, and feels like she's letting him in, and Maeve is really liking him too. So she says that Joe makes her comfortable, but she continues to have her guard up. I thought she needs to try to lower it a little bit, but not by much, to test the waters, to test the situation at the end of the day. So then we fall back into the Julia, Ruth and Devani debacle. The mood is very much somber, and of course it's the "how are you feeling" from Julia, Ruth to Devani. I mean, you just shot this man's cloud down. How do you think he's feeling right about now? What does she expect him to say? What does she honestly expect him to say after she really done told him that she don't really like him because of his height, which is something that he can't freaking change. He cannot change it. Devani says, well, I'm not feeling quite great. He says to the cameras that he's still physically attracted to Julia Ruth and emotionally attracted to her as well. And he does want it to work. I know you can't give up on the first hurdle. Like, you seriously can't in these types of shows, yeah. Like, seriously, I don't see how these big fundamental issues that they bring up, they're not gone. Like, seriously. I just don't understand it, to be honest with you. I think sometimes they're just like a glutton for punishment, or think they can change the way they view the world, and I don't think they can. So he says, like, he will let his character be bigger and taller. I don't think he should have to be honest, at the end of the day. So he tells Julia Ruth, like, there's so many days left. We'll have to just see where it goes. He says sometimes it's easier to adjust to your partner's needs. And I thought, mate, but you can't grow fucking taller. So what the fuck are you going to do? And then he continues with, like, it depends on circumstances and situations or time. And I just thought, but mate, she ain't told you the crux of it. Julia Ruth has not told Devani the crux of it. She finds this man boring as hell. And if that's a personality thing, he can't turn that around. I don't know what Julia Ruth is going to do. And she ain't helping matters with the faces that she pulls either at the end of the day. So she wanted to have fun. So she took him to cook like Moroccan food. This man was quiet. This man was really quiet. Devani was in his element. Don't get me wrong. He was in his element because he loves to cook. But you would have thought that he would start to get the banter going, the chat going, the this going, the that going. Because that's what Julia Ruth was looking for. Yeah. This man was so serious that he was quiet. Julia Ruth said the conversation was a struggle. I mean, she ain't lying there, because they didn't chat well for them. That conversation did not happen at all. That's why it was a freaking struggle at the end of the day. I think Julia Ruth as well, on the flip side, is expecting everyone to be as flamboyant as her friendship groups. And not everyone is going to be that way. So maybe, rather than getting Devani to change up, as I've already said, she can try and find something that will get him out of himself and be fun for him. At the end of the day, find an interest he loves, such as his superheroes, yeah. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if this cooking thing was doing it more for herself. Because I find that when you're cooking, yes, I love to cook. And if I'm cooking and people are chatting to me, I get thrown off in that sense. So I get quite serious when I'm cooking. But also, I like to have a bit of music on in the background. I like to do other things and this, that and the other. So maybe cooking was not the best idea in order to try and see if you can get the fun out of this man. Back to Rebecca and Bailey. So his friends, these are the two that sat there looking at Bailey like, I'm going to wreck your day. They were not the best friends. Turned around and says that Bailey was punching when it came to Rebecca. And Bailey basically said, well, I want to be punching, so I'm guessing he wants a woman that every man will want but can't have at the end of the day. I mean, that's kind of a trophy for some men, isn't it? Having a woman that every other man may desire, but the fuck that they can't have them. Makes them feel big, makes them feel strong, makes them feel like, yeah, I've got the one. I've got the one that you want, but you can't have her. She's mine. She comes home with me at the end of the night. Gives him a little bit of an ego burst, doesn't it? So Rebecca is firing these questions at Bailey like, do you drink? What do you drink? Do you drink loads? Do you go out quite a lot? Bailey is not really getting to answer the questions as quick as they're thrown at him at the end of the day, and he is stuttering through it. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with having a bit of a drink. Not too much, probably. Ain't nothing wrong. And letting your hair down now and again at the end of the day. So Bailey is telling her, like, he's always in the gym. But to me, he was coming off like he was trying to write it hard, yeah. And I think Rebecca could tell he was kind of skirting the truth at the end of the day. So Rebecca says that she's leaving the table, she's going to go chat to his friends. And of course, Rebecca zeroes in on the friends that, you know, I don't think are really his friends and are his greatest enemies at the end of the day, that don't want to see him prosper. Because the friends turn around and confirm that Bailey is chatting so much shit. This is at his wedding, guys. And they're talking to his bride, who is trying to get to know the essence of who Bailey is. And these fuckers are sitting there downgrading this man like you would not believe. And these are supposed to be his friends, do you know what I mean? All I'm going to say is these two friends want to see Bailey fail. Especially the one that was sitting in the blue waistcoat. I don't know what his name is, because he really looks like he don't like Bailey at all, the way his face is set. And you do get some friends who really want to prey on your downfall and don't wish you to succeed, but want to have a front row seat to the fuck shit that is your life at the end of the day, when they're hoping you don't succeed. So Rebecca went off, yeah, as I said, speaking to them. These friends are terrible. They couldn't wait to turn down Bailey, like wolf in sheep's clothing and all of that. So they tell her, like, he ain't 6'4", more like 6'2" on a good day. They tell her he does press ups in the morning. He don't go to the gym, and that he doesn't go training every day. Mate, I thought, Bailey, why did you bring these types of friends with you? Even if you can call them friends at the end of the day, because they're reveling in the fact that they can stick the knife in with this woman at the end of the day and fuck up any type of situation he hoped to have with her. That's why I hope he prospers. That's why I honestly hope he prospers in it, because nah, man, when you have friends like that, don't need motherfucking enemies, like, seriously. So now they get on to, like, what he's like in a relationship, and they tell her, like, you know, when he was in a relationship with his child's mother, he changed his dress sense to suit his partner, to match up with her. And of course Rebecca didn't really like that, because she wants this man to be an alpha at the end of the day. She wants someone who is dead sure of themselves. I said, yeah, his friends are fuckery, honestly fuckery. So Bailey is on the back foot, yeah, for telling a little white lie at the end of the day, she called it, because she didn't like the fact that, you know, he said his friends are saying these things. And I'm like, well, Rebecca needs to have that conversation with Bailey to find out what the truth is at the end of the day. So she definitely weren't liking what she was hearing, but his friends did that shit on purpose at the end of the day. So then we go back to Maeve and Joe, and they've gone out. I think they went rum tasting or something like that. So Maeve is actually having a good time with Joe. So, but all the while in the back of her mind, she's saying to the cameras, like, you know, if you open yourself up, these people are going to hurt you, da 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 da. And this is why I said that I don't know why half of them come on the show with these hangs up, because now they're going to be Joe's hangs up at the end of the day, even though he's done fuck all wrong. So sometimes Joe does not give much. Sometimes, to be honest, he will sit back and he will watch, but doesn't fully engage with Maeve in that sense. So Joe does bring up, like, you know, Maeve's guard in the terms that she has it up, and he says, like, when me and you are in the villa, it's like your guard comes down, but then when we're out in company, it comes all the way back up. So he was trying to understand why that is. Yeah, but I don't think Maeve was really well and truly ready to talk about that situation at all. And in comes the defensive Maeve. Let me just put it that way. Because for some reason now Joe has pissed her the fuck off. I think it's because he came close to the truth and she feels now out of control. And this is her way of gaining that control back, basically. So she can't give Joe a reason why she's being this way right now. The girl has gone into full crash out mode, absolute full crash out mode, because now she's about to explode, and she ain't even had a drink like that. Do you know what I mean? Because she was waiting, I think, for the the time and the place in order to push Joe away, and she's self-sabotaging in real time, and Joe is dumbfounded by the behaviour that's coming from her at the moment. He says it's because he said like she doesn't open up, that's why she's pissed at him. But she chose what she wanted to hear from him. He didn't say that, you know, he said that she opens up when they're in the villa together. He's talking more so about the fact that when they get into public, he doesn't understand why that behaviour doesn't travel when they're out in the public. And that's what he's trying to understand. So she becomes hella aggressive with him with her tone and says, I don't like people to see me like this. You know, I don't want them to see that softer side. I'm known for my big brash personality. She doesn't want everybody to see that she can be this way. I'm like, I'm sorry, that made no sense to me. It honestly did make no sense to me. Like, she is afraid of her softer side being seen by other people when her and Joe are out together. She doesn't want other people to know that she's very comfortable with Joe. I'm just like, she needs to stop this, because at the end of the day, Joe is trying to see if he can be the person to catch her when she falls at the end of the day. And this attitude that she's bringing off each and every time isn't getting her nowhere at all. So basically, Joe hit a nerve with Maeve and she went into full defensive crash out mode. It was painful to watch, to be honest. So Joe was trying to make her see that being and showing her softer side is a part of who she is. So she didn't care about what others think seen it at the end of the day. But then she goes, but I do. And he was saying, why? And she goes, cause I do. And then he said, but that's not really an answer. Why? All I'm going to say is therapy is the key for this one, Joe. Seriously. Therapy is the key, because my thing is if you're expecting a relationship or a marriage to last a lifetime and you come into that and you are, I don't even want to say damaged, because that's the wrong word to use, but you're not healed in terms of your previous experiences, then you will crash and burn in that relationship, because you're placing all those negativities on a person that doesn't deserve it. So Maeve is basically showing how unhealed she was, like how unhealed she was at the end of the day. So then it got to the point where she literally starts effing and blinding at this man. And I must say, I don't care how angry you get, effing and jeffing at people, calling them fucking idiots, or getting like hella insultive towards people and their characters like that is not on. It really is not on at the end of the day, because yes, you can get frustrated. People do get frustrated, of course they do, and when they get hurt, that frustration comes out even more. But that still doesn't make it okay for you to treat the other person that may have caused that frustration or that hurt like shit. It really doesn't, especially when you're trying to have a communicative back and forth chat or conversation to understand where each other is coming from, because it's give and take. One has to listen to hear that the other one's been heard, and vice versa. Yeah, so when you start breaking it down and start swearing at that person or start coming with the insults, then that conversation is done, that conversation is over, because then the other person is going to start getting defensive. Yeah, and then you're going to get nowhere with it at the end of the day. All I kept on thinking was, Joe, you need to leave her to it for real, because she's spiraling. But Joe wasn't. He was a trooper. He kept on trying to talk to her, even though her behaviour was trash at the end of the day. So all Joe is asking for is a reason as to why she says he hit a nerve. She can't give one, because there isn't one. There isn't one. He got too close. He got too close, and now she's pushing back. That's what she's doing. So we go back to them, and it's the morning after the night before. Joe is basically feeling a little bit uneasy because of how things were left. So Maeve, you see, is on the balcony. She's talking to the cameras and she's excusing her behaviour in terms of flying off the handle by having a few drinks, which she says caused her to get in her head. It seems like she's been doing this for a very freaking long time at the end of the day, and she actually needs to go seek help if she's saying it's the alcohol that's making her this way at the end of the day, because I don't know. she acted shitty towards him. She acted shitty. So she turns around and she says that she needs to tell Joe how she's really feeling. So she tells him that she struggles to open up. So I'm like, okay, so how is she going to change this behaviour? Because I threw back to the wedding in terms of her friend saying that she can get argumentative, but then in the morning you'll get the different Maeve who's very apologetic. How's she going to change this behaviour? How's she going to not do this again at the end of the day? Because there's only so much Joe's going to be able to take at the end of the day. So Joe does tell Maeve like he would not fuck her over, but to be fair, Maeve doesn't honestly know that, and Joe doesn't honestly know that at the end of the day. But the way she is doing things is not helping her either. So Joe does reassure Maeve and tell her, like, you know, you don't need to feel bad about what's happened at the end of the day. But in my books, I think she should. So she said she will be a bit more open to him after all of this, and we'll see if that's true. So then we go back to Rebecca and Bailey. And she tells him what his friends had said to her. I thought, yep, Bailey, your friends well and truly fucked you over. This man said he told the truth. I kind of believe Bailey's friends, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. So Bailey looked hella nervous, and Rebecca didn't stop. Yeah, she continued to tell him what his friends had said, and I thought, yeah, they did the most. They really did the most. Rebecca thinks he may have the gift of the gab, which he definitely does. He definitely does. Yeah. So they kept on saying, like, you know, for them to give each other a kiss, and Bailey was not happy because he got the cheek again. I was like, mate, she not like you. She really don't. Not a good first impression, did you, mate? So Rebecca basically wanted to discuss the sleeping arrangements, and he basically said that he would take the sofa because she wants a clear divide between them at the end of the day. He thinks like it's going to be something that he's going to have to work on because he really does like her, but she is definitely not there yet. So then we go back to Maeve and Joe, and it looks like they're really getting on well, like a house on fire at the end of the day. And they ended up sealing a deal. I was not expecting that at all. They were definitely getting close and togetherness in the shower when he was washing her off, and they kissed each other, and I was like, okay, let's see how this goes between the both of them. So then we get back to Julia and Devani. They go camel riding. Julia Ruth basically wants it to be light-hearted. She wants a laugh. She wants to focus on the good things and the good energy. So Devani believes that they can get over the hump. And I was like, but man, you don't speak. You don't show any attentiveness to your person when you're doing activities. You could hear the pure silence between them. I thought, bloody hell, Devani, at least crack a joke, smile or two, do what you need to do. It was awful. I ain't gonna lie, it really was. There was no conversation in sight again. So now Devani has started a soliloquy nobody asked for, and it was painful and riddled with negativity. So Julia Ruth asked him if he had any fears, and it was just a surface level question. This man dug deep. This man went deep. He went deep with it. He said he was always alone, even with his family, and he would be afraid if he spent the rest of his life alone. That would be the worst. I was like, there's a time and a place to get deep here, and on the back of a camel ride was not it at the end of the day. You should have been laughing, joking, having fun. So Julia Ruth said to him, like, you are quite negative, and if you sit on the negativity and withdraw negativity, it will keep coming back to you. And she's right. This man is in his philosophy of everything has to be so deep with him. So Devani was saying, like, what he said wasn't coming from a negative space. It was about him opening up to her. So Julia Ruth wants him to be open to her, but she said there needs to be a balance and a time and a place for things. And again, she's right. So Devani said he wasn't being negative, he just felt it was something that he had to share. Again, Devani's not necessarily listening to the words that are coming out of Julia Ruth's mouth, so all he's doing is listening to respond. Yeah, so he basically told her that he is on here to find his person. Julia Ruth does interrupt him mid-flow and says that, you know, he says things like, and it's like a tornado of negativity, and the way he says things makes it hard for her to then be intimate with him. I mean, why don't you just tell the man that she finds him boring beyond belief? Yeah. She says everything is always so tense with him and so deep, and the last thing she wants to do is have a talk about trauma and then go into bed with him. I was at a loss for words. I mean, that man can't speak. Sometimes it looks like, unless it's to have fun at the end of the day. But as I said, there is a time and a place in order to get deep with someone. So in comes the separate rooms. And I thought to myself, Devani, my friend, once that's introduced, you may as well say it's over now. Devani is feeling like absolute shit from hearing all of that, like, because he feels that she's effectively shut him down, and he felt that he was attacked by her. He did give her space, and then he ended out with him literally lying on the step crying his heart out. Yeah, weren't good at all. But that's where this episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, my renegades and all of those that are coming in, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know when I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and everything else, because I forgot what the hell I was going to say, but hey ho, because I continue to be on the road to 1K. Peace out.